after playing Galvanic for the first time in 0.3 yesterday, I have now updated the Galvanic shards and Shockburst rounds to also include crit and basically tripled its damage. For the planner, which is linked down in the description below, you can see that I have updated passive tree, skills and equipment. Very important here is that there are basically sets. So you have the campaign tree that corresponds to the campaign skills, which then also corresponds to the campaign equipment. So if you are looking at the maps before crit, which changes the skill tree a little bit, you should also look at the skills and the equipment that matches the title of the passive tree. So very important here, before crit, you were basically going down here to the left side, which then basically makes it so that we include a lot of the nice spray and pray, run and gun nodes, and the lightning damage down here, as well as the two-handed weapon damage. This is the same as in the version from yesterday. So basically, this is the version that I was at when I started playing yesterday. And now what we're going to do is we are now swapping to the crit and early energy shield version. So if I click this, you can already see that the skill tree or the passive tree changes quite a bit. We can now see that we heavily favorize the monk starting area or the right side, not only because we do have a lot of evasion rating maximum energy shields there for us to grab, but also there is tons of crit damage bonus that we can pick up, and also fill this out with lightning damage right here. Very important when you want to swap to the map's crit and early ES version is that you also change your gear. Not only do you change some of your gear to energy shield to become way tankier than in the version before, but you're also gonna deal much more damage. For this, it's extremely important that you find yourself a crossbow that has critical hit chance on it. It doesn't need to be 5%. It's just what the planner spits out if I input the affixes, so to speak, right? The mods. This is because the base critical hit chance, which is currently not visible here in the planner, which is then further going to be increased by your passive tree. Here you can see, for example, that we are going for increased critical hit chance, which then scales off of the increased crit chance that is on your crossbow. If you wouldn't have crit chance on your crossbow, this would scale off of 5%, whereas if you have crit chance, let's say 5% additional on your crossbow, which is actually a very high number, but just for an example, then this increased critical hit chance would now scale off of the 10%. So you would obviously gain much more value out of the passive tree when it comes to the critical hit chance. Then for the armor, it's extremely important to keep the following in mind. We are going for Subterfuge Mask, which makes it so that we gain +2 evasion rating per energy shield on our equipped helmet. This means that we're gonna go for a very high energy shield helmet, which is then going to convert or not convert, but add the energy shield double amount to our evasion rating. So we basically hit 2 birds with 1 stone here. Furthermore, it's also extremely important to memorize that we have Spectral Ward, which does basically the same thing, but the other way around for the body armor. So we get additional energy shield per 12 evasion rating on equipped body armor, which means we want to have a very high evasion rating chest, as you can see right here. And the bestial skin right here is also playing into this. So very important, if you're making your gear for the crit early ES build, you need to have a high evasion rating chest and a high energy shield helmet. The rest of the gear is pretty normal, but a very cool trick that you can do, or something that you should certainly pay attention to, is the amount of energy shields you can get from a good amulet. As you can see right here, there is increased maximum energy shield on your amulet, which is basically the same worth as 2 of these points right here, and that can even go even higher. As you can see right here, if I click this and I type maximum energy shield, this basically goes up to 50 if you have a high item level base. So for example, if I change the base right here, you can see that we can get 50% increased maximum energy shield on the amulet, and we can also gain flat maximum energy shield on our amulet, which then obviously is going to scale our defenses tremendously, because we are increasing the energy shield so much while pathing towards the monk side of the tree. For the skill rotation, when you are clearing, you're basically only holding down your galvanic shards and just spraying at the enemies. The galvanic shards are literally going to take care of everything for you, so you can just mindlessly run around and hold down the button to fire your galvanic shards. For single target, it is just a slightly bit more complicated. For this, we are going to be using the SHOCKBURST rounds. And as you guys already know from the first build guide, basically, we are doing our main source of damage with the pulse. But the pulse only occurs when we are hitting an enemy affected by shock or lightning ailment. In this case, we are using shock because that also buffs our damage. For this, we are basically, during the early stages of the build, you would just do galvanic shards on a boss until it's shocked, and then swap to the SHOCKBURST rounds, hold down on the SHOCKBURST rounds, and deal a lot of damage. But in this new version, what we're definitely going to do is we're going to be using the Stormcaller arrow. I already explained this yesterday. Here you can see that the bolt that is hitting the enemy has 500% more chance to shock, which makes it infinitely easier to shock our targets. And also the quality right here also increases the shock duration, which basically increases our DPS as well, because we need to swap away from SHOCKBURST rounds less. So what we're going to do now is we're going to insert the Stormcaller arrow. You're going to find all of the gems in the planner, so make sure to check that out. And then for easy weapon swapping, you need to click this little arrow right here and then disable the, let me hide the camera here, disable the weapon set that you don't want to use this with. So what I'm doing is I have my bow in the second weapon set, so I have disabled the first one and enabled the second one. And after that is done, I'm then going into all my crossbow skills and I'm doing the exact same, but the other way around, just for safety. This is not going to be mandatory. This is just my ADHD probably kicking in, where I want to have this on the crossbow and for the Stormcaller arrow on the bows right here, which then is going to allow you not having to manually change the weapons. So for example, I have my Stormcaller arrow on right click. So even though I have my crossbow out right now, I am just going to right click. It is automatically going to swap to my bow. As you can see, my character is holding the bow and it's also active here at the top. Then when the target is shocked, which is going to be with just one arrow, you are going to swap back to the SHOCKBURST rounds. As you can see, the character automatically has the crossbow out, and then you can hold down your fire button. So in quick succession, for example, boss comes up, I'm clicking Stormcaller arrow, I'm already swapping to SHOCKBURST rounds and then holding down the button. In between that, you can also add the voltaic mark, which is going to make it so that hits against marked enemies have 50% more chance to shock, and shock has 45% increased effect on marked enemies. 15% of that comes from the quality, which basically changes our single target rotation to the following. The boss spawns, I'm right-clicking for Stormcaller arrow, I'm pressing voltaic mark, going to the SHOCKBURST rounds or just holding down my shoot button and starting shooting. So very quick, right-click, voltaic mark, shoot.
Holy fucking shit.
Desolation. I smell.
From above.
I'm having a ton of fun with Galvanic Shard and Shockburst rounds. This is easily the most loved build for me that I have ever played in Path of Exile 2. If you want to see me improve the build further, I suggest you check out the Twitch that is going to be linked down in the description and also in the pinned comment below, because I'm live literally right now waiting to answer all of your questions on the build. And if you like content similar to this, make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel and I'll see you next time.